But yeah, for right now, for the stream, I wanted to talk about some Pokemon Legends ZA. I wanted to talk about some stuff. Um, like I said, if you want to go see my initial thoughts on it and a live reaction, I guess you could say, you can go back into the VOD, go to my VOD channel, check it out, go to my main channel, check it out. Um, but I wanted to talk about some of this. And as you can see, yes, this is not Pokemon ZA, this is Legends Arceus. But I wanted to do some predictions and stuff for it as well. Um, so yeah, first thing I want to get across, in my last video I did, or in the last stream and VOD, yada yada, I seemed a little bit more disappointed in it, and I realized that after. But after taking a few days and thinking about it, seeing other people's perspectives, I am not as mad anymore about it. And I really wasn't mad. I was more annoyed and disappointed, but I have come to accept it. I am in the accepted stage of the 5 stages of grief. I am in acceptance right now. So I am happy that we are getting the game. I am totally happy. I am disappointed and saddened that it is not in Unova and that or in Johto or anything that it has been teased up until now, but it is acceptable. I am happy that we are going back to Kalos because we did never get Pokemon Z as we thought we would. So I am very happy that we are going back. If we're lucky, we will be getting this on the next Switch. I don't think I've addressed it on stream, but there have been talks about the Switch 2 getting delayed to next year, and that possibly being one of the reasons why Pokemon is waiting until 2025 to release. So that they're not actually, some people are, there's like two kind of sides. They're either saying, there's one side saying, oh, Pokemon's fine. There's one side that's saying like, oh, Pokemon is finally going to slow down a little bit. There's not going to be a game every year because for like the past decade, we have had a Pokemon game release every single year. Whether that be the new generation or just like a remake or something extra like that. Ever since Sun and Moon came out, we have had a new game every single year. Actually, it may even be Auras. It was something around that because I think X and Y was 2012, wasn't it? And then I think Auras was 2014, and then from there it just snowballed. Because I think, was it 2016? I think that was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. And then we had Let's Go in 2017. No, maybe actually, I think Auras may have been, either Auras was in 2013 or it was 2015. I forget. You know what? Hold up. Because now Pokemon Auras. 2014. Okay. So it was 2014 for that. And then there might have been a break in between for some other stuff. But okay. So yeah, I am very excited though. But that's one side. One side is thinking that they're finally going to slow down a little bit and they're going to actually improve on the games and take their time with them. The other side is saying that the only reason that it is getting pushed back is because they want it to be a release title with the new Switch. And since the Switch is getting delayed, or the Switch 2 is getting delayed, probably to March, if the delay thing is true, it'll probably get pushed back to March. And people are saying that means we are probably going to, it'll wait and we're going to be getting it with the new Switch 2 as probably like a release title or like right after release, something like that. And that's the only reason that the game is being pushed back. I'm on the camp. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. So I'm in the camp that is saying Pokemon's taking a bit of a break. Because while I could completely see that Pokemon would wait a bit to be on the Switch, I could see that. I feel like they are actually taking a bit of a break with it. And they're like, or not taking a break, but they're postponing and they're taking the time to work on this stuff. That's my hope. That's my optimism talking. We've been let down in the past before, so for all I know, this is sorry, I needed to fix that in the stream title. So it is definitely possible that I am probably getting my hopes up a little too much again. But we haven't seen any gameplay. We only know of the concept, really. We only know the concept of the game and the general, what are we doing? And it's a very general. I also wanted to pull up Nintendo of America. Jeez, Riddler coup. I wanted to pull up Nintendo of America because I also didn't pull this. I don't think I pulled this up last time. Where... Oh, I definitely clicked on the wrong one. Nintendo of America. There it is. So I've said this, and a bunch of other people have also said this about it being strictly in Lumio City. So assuming Nintendo of America is, because there is always the very possible. I'm not saying it is likely. I am saying that it is a possibility. It is very possible Nintendo just didn't know that, or doesn't know that the game is supposed to be in all of Kalos. It is very possible. It's possible. Is it likely? No, it is not. Unfortunately, it is not very likely. Which is what, and people have been saying that it's all going to be in Lumio City, and people are saying, "What are you talking about? That sounds stupid." But this is why people are thinking that, is because Nintendo of America has said it is entirely in Lumio City. Which, if it is, that's going to be a negative to the game. Because the only way I can see that being in Lumio City throughout the entire thing as a positive is if they upscale the entire city and they make drastic, and I mean like completely overhaul our entire concept of Pokemon games at this point, mainline Pokemon games. Because normal Pokemon games, you go throughout the region, you know, you're going into the wild to catch Pokemon, you're going out there to battle gyms, and you're going out there to defeat the evil team. And while I can see some of that being done all in Lumio City, like I can see maybe going and exploring the whole city. I can see defeating an evil team in the city. I think that could be possible. Doubts arise when it comes to something like catching Pokemon. Where are we going to be doing that? I mean, there was something in the trailer that seemed like the waterway, like near the water, is open, so we could possibly go down there to catch. There might be like parks that they add in Lumio City or something that that allow us to catch Pokemon, kind of like the national park. Right, national park, I think that's what it is. I forget what gen that was, but that could be a possibility. I remember seeing I forget who it was on TikTok, but I saw a theory that we could be going into the Paris catacombs, like the underground catacombs, and that's maybe where we could find some Pokemon. And that'll be like our caves, which again is a possibility. Is it likely? I would say I doubt it, but it is definitely a possibility that could be brought up. But otherwise, but like that's a lot of ifs. And we've all seen, and let me actually pull it up. Lumio City Pokemon X, and I did not spell that right, but we're gonna move past that. You can see from some of these shots, if they're taking exactly Lumio City from Pokemon X and Y, and they are bringing it into, jeez, this is blurry as hell, and they're bringing it like almost one for one, maybe a little upscale, but if they're bringing it around this size, then this game is not going to work. This only being in Lumio City is not going to work, because Lumio City is big, do not get me wrong, but the Lumio City from the X and Y games, you could explore for maybe 2-3 hours, and that'd be it. There wasn't a lot of content. Now, of course, this game is going to be the redevelopment plan, the urbanization plan of Lumio City, so most of it is probably going to be going around building all these buildings, of course. We might be going around and building everything in, like, all the different Pokemon centers, all these different little tea shops and restaurants and clothing stores. I'm assuming we're going to be doing some shit like that. But, and this is kind of what I was talking about, this Rogue Plaza, Juan Plaza, that might be where we can kind of catch Pokemon, kind of like how you did in the terrarium area in the Blueberry Academy, and it would just be smaller versions of it. But like I'm saying, they would have to take the scale of Lumio City from X and Y and at least triple it. At least triple it, I would say. And of course, obviously, like, not make it this 3D pixelized version. Make it actually like, don't make it look like this. Upscale it, make it better. Obviously, they're probably going to have a whole different art style for it. They never stick with really the same ever since X and Y. And actually, you could probably say, no, yeah, ever since X and Y, they pretty much have different art styles for every game going after, or graphic styles, whatever, however you want to say it. But yeah, so they need to really expand this if we are strictly staying in Lumiose City. Now, there's the possibility we don't stay in Lumiose City, which I am hoping that we don't actually stay in Lumiose City the entire time, where we could go out to Route 16, Route 14, 13, 5, and 4. And let me pull this up here. Can I get a bigger map? Yeah, that works. I just want a bigger map, actually. Let's see, DeviantArt. Thank you. Okay. So we have Lumiose City here, and we can go out to the power plant, which can give us a different sort of region of Pokemon, and this will give us like maybe some more mountainous or some more like ground types, or like kind of like a sandstorm area. We go out here to Route 4 and 5 over here with Santa Luna and Camphor Town. We might not be able to go to them, but we can at least go out into these areas, get our grassy type Pokemon, you know, our plains biome. You could go out here near Dendemil Town, and you could get your snow Pokemon, obviously. Up here near Lavier City, I think these are mountains, if I remember correctly, so you can get your mountainous type Pokemon here, maybe, and you can even get swamp Pokemon maybe in between Dendemil Town and Lumiose. But like if it's outside of Lumiose City and they're not using the entire region, kind of like they did in Legends Arceus, then that I could see happening, where instead of exploring the entire region, mostly everything is going to be in Lumiose City, but like if you want to go get your Pokemon, or maybe you need certain materials, that I could see. You need to get certain materials to build stuff, which would make sense. You have to go to these different ones, and it's a bit of a fetch quest to actually get out here and go, but this allows you to go out and get different Pokemon. It allows you to just battle some trainers that might be out here also getting materials for the plant, or maybe just some civilians in like different little towns. Again, these are all possibilities. This is not, I know shit. I don't know shit. These are all just theories, game theories, and ideas that I think could work. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, there's that. And I also wanted to go through and predict stuff. As I said 20 minutes ago, I want to predict some stuff. So I want to predict the starters. So we're going to pull up some Photoshop because I want to get some X's in here. Photoshop, thank you. Okay, because I want to go through and I want to predict what starters I think will be in this game, because as we know, with the last Legends game, it was set in the Sinnoh region. It was set in Gen 4. We did not get any Gen 4 starters in that one. I also need to take some of these out. I have fucking Gabby Carter sucking a dick on that. I should probably get that out of here. It was used for one of my videos. That's why that's on there. It was used for a video, and I did not show the dick. We're gonna calm down there. Okay. Also, I think I'm the only person streaming under Pokemon ZA right now, and I kind of hope I am, because I think that would be cool. But here we go. And actually, hold on. I want to check that out. I want to see if I'm the only person streaming under it. Yes, I am. I am the only person streaming under Pokemon ZA. Let's go. Let's go. For anybody coming, welcome, welcome. I'm the only Pokemon ZA streamer. Okay. In all seriousness, let's get into this. Yeah, we'll just do this, and we'll do a giant ass erase. Okay, so first. Who do I, and we're gonna go off based, who do I think will not be here? I think it is very easy to say. Jesus Christ. There we go. Bulbasaur will not be here. And you know what? We're gonna do. We're gonna do some, just do some X's. I'm being too much of a perfectionist with it, but I don't care. Bulbasaur is out. Bulbasaur is out. Same with Charmander. Same with Squirtle. All three of them are out. Reasoning behind this: Gen 1 starters. First off. Second of all, these guys have already got Mega Evolution. We already know that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to bring back Mega Evolution, or it is at least very, very likely, like 99% likeliness. There is just that 1% that's just like, they might fuck us over. But 99% guarantee we are getting Mega Evolution back, and all of these guys have Mega Evolutions already. Will Charizard get a Mega Charizard Z? I'm honestly thinking it probably will. Maybe same with Mewtwo, because Mewtwo is the only other one with a double level Mega Evolution. I think that one could get a Mega Mewtwo Z. It would fit. I mean, the two Pokemon that have an X and a Y variant probably would also get a Z variant, where maybe like they could explain it as it just got phased out over time and it got lost over the few years. Yada yada, whatever. But they're not going to be here. Next up on the list, I'm going to take out the Gen 9 starters. I think Gen 9 has been way too recent. It's way too recent. It's been 2 years, so by the time this game comes out, it'll have been just over 3 years since it came out. I think that's going to be a little too early, and I know that could be a little contradictory because of Rowlet over here. He was a starter. She, whatever. Rowlet was a starter in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it got its own form. But I think I can safely say that these guys are very likely not going to be them. Again, I don't know shit. I'm just predicting. I think it's likely these guys aren't going to be here. And speaking of Rowlet, Rowlet would not be here, along with Oshawott and there it is. Totodile. That's not Totodile. That's fucking Totodile. Cyndaquil. I think pretty self-explanatory. They were the starter. There we go. They were the starters in the Legends games. They already got their Hisui forms, so I think it's pretty safe to say they will not be starters. Same thing. Because I do not think Fennekin, Chespin, or Froakie are going to be starters. Will they be in the game? 100%. They will. It's Kalos. They will be in the game. I think what they're going to do with Chespin, Froakie, and Fennekin are the same how they did with Turtwig, Piplup, and Chimchar in the Hisui region, where instead of they are your starters, it is they roam around and you can catch them. Again, how will that catching work? No fucking clue. But I think that they'll just be roaming around and we can catch them in the wild. I also think, and this is just a side thing, or you know what? I'll save that for later. I'll save that topic for later. So here's what we got. We have Chikorita and Totodile. We have... Oh, wait, sorry. I'm also going to take out the Gen 3 starters. I'm also going to take out all Gen 3 starters. Because Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip all have Mega Evolutions as well. I think that they're going to go with the fact that they're either going to make they're either going to give the starters Colossian forms, Colossian forms, or they're going to give them Mega Evolutions. And I think Mega Evolution might be a little bit like it would make a little bit more sense just because Kalos technically does have some regional variance due to, just because like when we went into later regions, I think Galar had one Colossian. No, Galar didn't have any Colossian. Did Paldea didn't have any Colossian either. Oh yeah, yeah. So I think everything in Kalos doesn't have a regional. So yeah, like there's no regionals specific to Kalos. I think everything from Kalos is the only thing. No regional forms, and there's no regional form of anything else in Kalos, obviously, because regional forms were not introduced until the Sun and Moon era with Alola. So yeah, but that means starters are more than likely going to get Mega Evolutions, which means Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, they already all got Mega Evolutions with Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, and Mega... whatever the fuck Mudkip is. Swampert. Mega Swampert. So, that's what we got, which means we have 3 fire, 3 water, 3 grass types to choose from. And here is who I think is going to get it. Let's turn this into a green. Let's turn this to green. Make it a little smaller so I can do a bit of a circle. Yeah, Chimchar's not my choice. Out of the grass. Out of the grass. Who do I want? I want Snivy. I want Snivy as it. If I'm being realistic, I think Chikorita probably fits the bill here. Can I do a good circle? No, I am using my mouse. Sure, that works. I think Chikorita will more than likely be the choice. Chikorita, we haven't seen much from Chikorita and Bayleaf and Meganium at all in the series. I feel like we see everything from a little bit from everybody else that's left over. Litten, obviously, we see a good bit from, and Popplio is still pretty recent. I feel like Unova starters we see a lot from. I don't see too much from Chikorita. I feel like Chikorita might be getting in there, might be getting a Mega Form. In that vein, that also means, I guess let me go back to my red. That also means Totodile will not be there. Obviously, we can only have one from each region. If we're going off Legends Arceus terms, we can only have one starter from each region. So Chikorita, no to Totodile. All right, next. Let's move on to the fire type. I think if we're going to go off a little bit of recency, I could see Litten. I think it's going to be Tepig, though. I think it'll be Tepig. I feel like Emboar, just Emboar in itself, could be huge with getting a Mega Evolution. I feel like out of all 3 of these, while I could see, Chimchar's Infernape getting maybe like a Sung Wukong type Mega Evolution, or Litten, maybe getting like an actual mask put on him or something like that for a Mega Evolution or something like that, and become more of a wrestler, like Macho Libre type thing. I think Emboar would have the biggest potential to get a Mega Evolution. Which means, unfortunately, Snivy is out, but it was out anyway because of grass type, which I should also take you off. Okay. Finally, our water type. Popplio or Piplup. And I think if we're going to go with any, it's gotta be fucking Piplup. I think it's gotta be Piplup. Because I remember seeing something just earlier about Empoleon and it being based off Napoleon. I mean, Napoleon, it is very not obvious because I personally don't know. So I'm not going to say it's obvious. but it is very likely that that could be the thing that we're going with here. And Empoleon is also, like, it's a water steel type. I think that could be awesome, and it could get changed into a fairy type pretty easily, I would think, or maybe a dark type, or however they want to do that. But I do think Piplup could be good. Now, let me actually change this to yellow, and yellow is going to be some of my maybes, which I should keep that red. So I'm going to have yellow be my maybes. So I'm going to be erasing some of these. I guess I can't actually erase, but can I erase? Nope, that's going to fuck it up. I should have done this at first. Hold on now. Oh. You didn't see anything. You didn't see anything. Nothing was there. Absolutely nothing was there. This VOD is getting fucking deleted off Twitch, but I will be blurring it for YouTube. I'm also taking it out right fucking now. Jesus Christ. We'll be having a fun time later, I will say that. Okay. Fuck. Oh god. For anybody that doesn't know, I showed the fucking Gabby Carter pic. Shit. Oh man, yeah, okay, this VOD is gonna get deleted off Twitch, but it will be blurred down on my VOD channel. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not fucking talking about that. Okay. Okay. Let's get back up here. Okay. Zoom out a little. I'm trying to fit it onto the screen so y'all can still see everything. Alright, actually, I can take that out. That'll help a little bit. Okay. So let me get my 3. Chikorita. Fucking hell, hold on. Chikorita. Motherfucker. Tepig. And Piplup, wow, yeah, do him great. Okay, now let me get my X's. These are okay, yeah. The ones I'm gonna X out right now are ones I definitely don't think are gonna be in there. Or are super unlikely. And Oshawott. Okay. And these guys I don't think are gonna be in there. Same with these guys. Okay. So based off who we do have left, I'm going to make little exceptions. And these are going to be guys that, while I don't think they're going to be, I think they could possibly be. I think that there is definitely an argument for them. Starting with Litten, I think... Fucking god, here we go again. Starting with Litten. I'm not even trying to do that for a joke. I am like being a perfectionist. Litten is first. I already explained it. Litten is definitely another possibility for a fire type. Litten is definitely another very possible choice over Tepig. Again, with the whole like pulling a mask down, and that. I think Chimchar could also be in there, but I doubt it. I do kind of doubt it. I think Piplup will be the obvious choice, so that'll be the Gen 4 one. Other ones that I think fucking hell, I think Snivy could be a good one. If they do go down the Litten route, I think Snivy would be the next obvious choice. Since obviously the fire type will be out and Oshawott's already done, I think Snivy will be next up. I think Superior and Servine and that whole line could work very, very well. I mean, it is supposed to be like a knight, no, right? It's like a grass serpent knight type thing. I'm thinking mostly because of the leaf blade thing. That's probably why. Or no, yeah, no, wait, Oshawott supposed to be the knight. I'm a fucking idiot. My bad. But I'm still, I think they could do some good stuff with Snivy and that whole line. Out of the water types, I definitely don't think it's Poplio. I think Totodile would be the next best option to pick if I had to choose. So there we go. I have my 3 that I think will be it. 3 possible backups or like backup options that I definitely think could work. These 2 sets, I would say, are very huge possibilities. And I think I mean, I am talking about 6 out of what, 18, 27? Oh yeah, well, oh wait, yeah, these are Galarian starters. Fuck am I talking about? Whatever. I still don't think they're going to be in. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be in. Definitely, Paldean starters, definitely there are not going to be any. There will absolutely be no Paldean starters. I forgot the Paldean starters weren't on this list. They are 100% not going to be in this game. But that means, yeah, I'm working with about 27 starters, so 6 out of the 27, what's that? Like, just under 25%, which means I've got a 1 in 4 chance less, maybe like a 1 in 5 chance. It's about between a 1 in 4 and a 1 in 5 chance that I'm going to get any of these right. So, like, obviously one of these will probably be right. But I think that I like that Chikorita, Tepig, Piplup. I think that'll be the most likely. I definitely think Snivy, Litten, and Totodile could be backups / other options that they do go with. I definitely think that that's possible. Okay. Next thing I want to do is possible mega evolutions. I want to go through possible mega evolutions. And to do that, I'm going to pull up Pokemon database. And we're going to go to the national dex. We're just going to scroll through. I want to give my ideas on some. Obviously, we know Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise already have Mega Evolutions. I think Charizard, I've already mentioned this, will probably get a Charizard Z. What that will look like, I got no clue, but you know what? Just for fun. Charizard D. Charizard Z. Now, could this be a possibility? I don't think so. I don't think he'll have 3 heads. I definitely don't think he will have 3 heads. But like something like this, I could kind of see this. I could definitely see something like this. I feel like though with Charizard X and Charizard Y, they would go with a different type of coloring, and I don't think it would really be green. It might have like, I don't think it would be directly green. Like it wouldn't be like this. I mean, this is quite literally just Charizard X with little flames on top. It's like a combination of Charizard Y and Charizard X, and then with green accents on it. I don't think that's going to happen. Could it be something like this? Definitely. I don't think the color scheme would be the same. I think it might be a little different, maybe a little greener. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be straight green like this, like straight green and dark green or moss green or anything. I think it's going to be a lot lighter in tone. Kind of like how Charizard Y isn't straight red for Pokemon Y, but it's like that orange like variant where it's like it's got a little bit of the other stuff, but it's still like red predominant. And same with this, where it's like it's black and blue, but it's not like the same blue as Pokemon X, where it's kind of like that darker. It's a lot more lighter, kind of like a not cool blue, ice blue. like kind of color scheme. So it's mainly blue, but it's not fully blue. So that's kind of what I think Charizard Z is going to be like, where it'll be like mainly green, but it won't be straight green. Like it might have, God, like, hold up. Color wheel. Like I could see it being something kind of like this, where it's a bit more of a lime green, but and it's also not, and it doesn't take up a lot. I could see it being something maybe like this, where it's a very light emerald green, or maybe a teal. I could see a teal type thing, where it is still a little bit of blue, but it has that green kind of thing out there. It's got that, it brings out the green a little more. So maybe like a tealish, really bright emerald green, or maybe something in between there, or a lime green. I think it's something in there if we do get a Charizard Z. Scrolling through, we got Butterfree and Beedrill. Or no, we didn't get Butterfree Mega. We got a G-Max Butterfree, but we did get Mega Beedrill. We got Mega Pidgeot. Do I think anything else? I don't think Raichu's getting a Mega. I doubt that. What else? I wouldn't go with Arcanine, just because that's already got a form. Alakazam, we already got Mega Alakazam. Machamp had a Galarian, or G-Max form, so I don't think that. I think a Tentacruel, it got a regional fake, right? R-Fake, that's what they're called in Paldea, where it's like, it's not actually a Tentacruel, but it is like, it's Toedscruel. So it's like, it's not a form, but it is like very reminiscent of Tentacruel. I'm definitely not Golem, not Rapidash, Slowbro. I think the Magnemite line, Magnezone, I think could have a good possibility for a Mega. I think because it gives off that, at least for me, Magnezone always gave off that, oh, I'm a pseudo-legendary vibe, without actually being a pseudo-legendary. Like, definitely doesn't have the base stat total for it. But it always gave off that vibe to me that it was like a pseudo-legend. It kind of looks like a pseudo-legend without the dragon part of it, of course. So I think that's possible. If we want to go down a little bit of a joking route, I think Dodrio could definitely. I mean, they gave Kangaskhan. Where is it? They gave Kangaskhan a Mega, and that's and it really all it is I think the horns get a little longer and the baby hops out of its pouch. So I definitely think Dodrio could become something. Maybe it gets more heads, or its necks get longer, or something like that. I don't know. I could see Dodrio being kind of like that joke one where they get another Mega. We obviously had Mega Steelix, Mega Gengar, which now that I think about it, Gengar didn't get its own special Z move, and it didn't get nothing got its own terrestrial form except Ogerpon and the other fucking one, Terrapagos. So yeah, but definitely not Gengar. Kingler got a G-Max, Electrode got a form. Let's see, Executor got a form, so probably not. Same with Marowak. I can see maybe the Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Hitmon top line. I could see those three getting maybe like their own Mega form, kind of like how the Lotties got their Megas, where Latios and Latias both got a Mega and they looked basically the same. I think the only real difference was their moves, I want to say. I think their base stat total was the same, but their moves were different, like one or two of the moves. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't played Oris in a while. Excuse me. I haven't played Oris in a while. So I definitely think Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop could be a possibility of getting some Megas. They got forms. Let's see, who else? I think that might be it from Gen 1, if I'm being honest. Because especially everybody down here got forms or some other stuff. Mega Mewtwo Z, though. Mega Mewtwo Z. I want to see Mega Mewtwo Z. I want to see some concepts. Jeez, yeah, he just turns into Frieza at this point. No, that'd be great. But yeah, so we had Mega Mewtwo X, which is kind of looked like a little bit of a brawler type, where you know, he's actually standing. Regular Mewtwo is standing, but he's standing. He's got little, like, they're not gauntlets, obviously, but they kind of seem like bracer gauntlet type things. His legs seem like they're built a little bit more for jumping around and speed. His tail's a little bit smaller. Kind of looks like he has... Do you remember... what was it? The fucking thing from the original Power Rangers that the Green Ranger wore, Tommy? It was the golden shit. It gives me reminiscing vibes of that. Obviously, it's not a full thing, but it kind of what it feels like. Mewtwo Y leaned a lot more into the psychic look of everything. You know, it's got the longer tail, it's flying in the air, it's a little bit smaller, its eyes kind of have that orange glow that's like it's shooting off power. It's got smaller legs, yada yada. It's got this little halo, or like half halo around it, and some demon horns that kind of give off that magical vibe. So Mewtwo X seems like a bit more of a brawler in terms of design alone. Mewtwo Y seems like the more psychic type. Mewtwo Z, if we end up getting a Mewtwo Z, I could see it being somewhat of a fusion between these two. Like some of these guys, like that's definitely not that. It would look a little bit different, I would think. Definitely not that. I could see something like this. I could see a little something like this. Let's see what else we got. And that doesn't show too much. I think this something like this would be a little too off. Again, this is kind of just combining both of them, but I could kind of see this still, maybe. But yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think with Mega Mewtwo Z, if we end up getting Z variants of Charizard and Mewtwo, it's a little harder to predict, just because looking at Mega Mewtwo X and Y, they are distinct, but it still feels like there's not much else that you really can change between these two. At least I'm not very creative, so I'm not a super creative person, so it is definitely harder for me to envision differences that you can make between these two. Whereas like Charizard, where is it? Where you have the Charizards, I could see making a little bit of a difference between them. But yeah. So Mega Mewtwo Z, I think that is also a good possibility, but I'm not sure exactly what it would look like. Going through, as I said, Meganium, assuming that is either Meganium or Feraligatr. I think one of those are going to be the starters. So they would more than likely get Mega Evolutions. Now, obviously, the starters in X and Y didn't actually get Mega Evolutions. We had Fennekin, Froakie, and Chespin didn't get Mega Evolutions. You can count Greninja, I guess, because it got the Ash Greninja form, which is technically a Mega Evolution. It's a little weird because you don't use a Mega Stone for it. It's all about, and it was all based on the anime. Like, it was not canon until really the anime made it canon, and then that's where that all happened. But I digress. I think if our starters do get megas, which is pretty likely, Meganium, Feraligatr, they will get some. Oh, they'll get some. Pause. Anyway, we know Ampharos already has one, Mega Ampharos. I think Azumarill could get one. I think this is a could, not a likely, but a could. It could. Same as Sudowoodo. It could. Will it? I don't think so. Wooper and Quagsire, I don't think, because we had Clodsire, which is our like regional fake. We had the Paldean Wooper, so probably not. Definitely nothing with the evolutions. Probably nothing with Unknown either. There was way too many different forms for that. So unless they're gonna pull an Alcremie, where Alcremie's Gigantamax form, no matter which form you are Gigantamaxing, it just turned into the same model. Unless they're gonna do that with Unknown, then I doubt Unknown's gonna get any sort of Mega Evolution. Plus, it's Unknown. I don't like it's a one stage evolution, which I think, or it's just a one stage. There is no evolution, and off the top of my head, I can't think of any Mega Evolutions that don't have 3 stages. I think except for Kangaskhan. Let me fact check this as well. Here we go. So that is technically a 2-stage. So we got a 2-stage, one stage, 2-stage, technically a 1-stage. Okay. So let me eat my fucking words for a second, because a few of these actually are 1-stage or 2-stage. Yeah, 1-stage. That's a 2-stage. 2. That's a 2. That's a 2. 2. That's a 1. That's a 1. That's 3. 3. Yeah, 1, 1, 1. Mega Lopunny. Oh my fucking god, Mega Lopunny. Sit on me. Yeah, okay. So let me eat my words real quick. Let me eat my words on that. I don't think it's going to be possible just because of all the forms. Let me say that. Same with Wobbuffet. Or not same with Wobbuffet, but I don't think Wobbuffet's going to get one. I think it's a little too goofy to get one. I don't know. Steelix already has one. We already know. Same with Scizor. Heracross has got one. Fucking chair. I'm going to break it. Houndoom's already got one. I can see Mamoswine maybe getting one. Possibly. Definitely nothing with Teddy or Ursaring, because we already got Ursaluna. If we're gonna go with legendaries getting megas, then I could see maybe Lugia or Ho-Oh. They don't have any forms. They really haven't had. If they have been teasing shit from Unova or Johto for any reason, I could see maybe like Lugia or Ho-Oh getting some Mega Evolutions or some forms or something in this. It's a possibility. Kind of like how in Legends Arceus they brought the genies back and added a new genie. I don't think they'll add a new one to the trio or to the duo here and make it a trio, but they might just get some forms. Sceptile, Blaziken, Swampert, they already have Mega Evolutions, so we don't even need to talk about that. Same with Gardevoir and Glade, they already got theirs. Let me see. Hariyama, I could see Hariyama, although Hariyama did get a Paradox form, so probably not. Aggron got a Mega, Medicham got a Mega, Manectric got a Mega, Sableye, Mawile, Sharpedo. I think Roserade could possibly get one. Roserade I could definitely see getting one. Camerupt already has one. Flygon, I think Flygon is I think Mega Flygon is basically guaranteed. Like, if I remember correctly, Mega Flygon was something that was supposed to be in the original X and Y. And I don't think none of these are actual official ones, obviously. But Mega Flygon, from what I've heard, was meant to be in the X and Y games, and then it got pulled. I remember hearing something about data miners finding like stuff in not in the source code, but in the files and the assets about a Mega Flygon, but it got pulled and it just never came to be. So I think Flygon, if they add any new megas, if they actually do add any new megas, Mega Flygon is the most likely, the absolute most likely to get a new Mega Evolution, because it wouldn't technically be new. Altaria got one. Already has one. What else? Don't think Milotic. I don't really think Cast Form. Banette already has one. I was gonna say maybe Banette. I could see Tropius. I could definitely see Tropius being one and getting a Mega Evolution. Maybe like probably turning it into like maybe a Dragon type. I could see that 100%. Glalie already got one. I think because Glalie already has one, I know I'm jumping ahead, but I think Frostlass might also get one. And same with Slowking. Now, Slowking obviously did have a Galarian, but so did Slowbro. And Slowbro had a Mega Evolution and then a Galarian. So I think Frostlass getting a Mega Evolution could be very possible. I think that one could be very possible. Let's see. Walrein. I don't think it's in the conversation. I think it could happen though. Salamence and Metagross obviously already have one. I don't think any of the Reggies are going to get one. We already know these three, and those two got one. If they want to go with a mythical, kind of like they had Mega Diancie, I could see maybe something from one of these two guys. Maybe like a Mega Jirachi, but I don't know. We don't have a Mega Mew, do we? So maybe a Mega Mew. Alright, Gen 4. Infernape. No, I don't think any of these. Empoleon, again, my starter choice. I could possibly get one. Luxray, I definitely think Luxray has a possibility of getting one. Same with Vespiquen. I could definitely see Vespiquen getting one of these. What else? What else do we got? Drifblim. Drifblim, I feel like that could get one. I feel like Drifblim could get it. Pause. Lopunny's already got one. Mommy. Let's see. What else? Spiritomb. I could possibly see it where it's like you maybe have to do kind of like a Spiritomb gathering quest, sort of like Legends Arceus, and you go around, you get the whatever Spiritomb stuff, and then maybe at the end you also get the Mega Stone. I could possibly see that, although since we're not in Hisui or Sinnoh, probably not, because I don't think they've had any other Spiritomb, any other like way to get a Spiritomb outside of any Gen 4 centered game, right? I don't think, because I don't think you could, I mean, like through other than like events or like gift Pokemon, I'm talking about like going and either battling it in the wild or collecting stuff for it, because I don't think anything in Unova, I don't think anything in Kalos originally, nothing in Sword and Shield or Let's Go, obviously nothing in Let's Go, but nothing in Sword and Shield, right? I don't think so, yeah. And nothing in the DLC, definitely nothing in Scarlet and Violet, and then the remakes were the remakes. Garchomp's already got one. Lucario's already got one. We already know these. Drapion, possibly. I could see Drapion getting one. Same with Carnivine. I could see those two possibly getting one. Abomasnow's already got one. I already talked about Magnezone. I think that could have a good chance. And same with Mamoswine. Just for jokes, I think Yanmega needs one. I mean, it's Mega Yanmega, or yeah. Mega Yanmega. I think at least for the jokes that needs to be done, and it's a dragonfly, so bug and dragon and flying. Do we have any dragon and flying types? I want to check this out. Do we have any dragon and flying types? We do. Dragonite, of course, Altaria. Okay. Moving on. Galade's already got one. Frostlass, I already talked about that. Definitely not any of these guys, and definitely nothing down here. I don't think are going to get any Mega Forms. Arceus is probably the most likely, if any of these legendaries and mythicals were to get any, probably Arceus. It is the god of Pokemon, so I feel like that would have the most likely. I mean, because Giratina, Palkia, Dialga, they already have their stuff going on. Shaman's already got another form for itself. Heatran, Regigigas, Darkrai, Cresselia, Manaphy, and Phione, they're all kind of to the side I digress. Victini, probably not, honestly. Superior, again, as a backup, if that becomes a starter, I definitely think that could have a possibility. Same with Embor, definitely could have a possibility. Samurott, probably not. I could see Stoutland, and also let me preface this now. I'm not saying that everything that I'm saying, like every Pokemon that I'm saying will get a Mega Form. I'm not saying that all of them will. I think that there is just a possibility that all of them could, or they each have like an equal chance of getting it. Like Stoutland, if I'm being honest, probably is not getting one, but I could see it getting a Mega Evolution. I could definitely, like, they could put a Mega Stoutland in the game, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I understand that. But they also couldn't, and I'd at the same time be like, yeah, that makes sense. These guys probably are better. Probably not a Simisage, Simisear, and Simipour. I don't think those are going to get Megas. Unfezant, maybe, but we already have our Pidgeot. So that's a very big maybe, and especially because it has a male and female form. It's a big maybe. Let's see, what else? Gigalith, I could see that. I could see a Gigalith. Same with Excadrill. And Conkeldurr, actually, I could see a good amount from Unova getting some. Throw and Sock, I feel like could get Mega Evolutions. Maybe it's like they turn into the other color or something. But I could see it, and it would fit the X and Y color scheme a little bit. Lilligant already got a Hisui form, so definitely not. Same with Basculin and Basculegion and all that. Crocodile, I could see getting a Mega. 100%. 100% could see Crocodile getting one. Definitely not Darmanitan, that's already got Galarian form. So, unlikely. I would say if Zorua and Zoroark didn't already get Hisui forms, I would say the Zoroark is very likely to get a Mega. But just because it's already got a Hisui form, I think it is not super likely. What else here? Maybe Amalga. I could possibly see Amalga getting one. I don't know, maybe. What else? Chandelure. I could see Chandelure getting one. Definitely. Haxorus. 100% I could see Haxorus getting one. Same with Druddigon. Druddigon I could absolutely see getting one. Golurk. Definitely. Bisharp. I'm going to say no just because Paldea did give it an evolution with Kingambit. Forgot the name for a minute. Braviary, no. Already got a new form. Hydreigon, I'm also going to say no. It did get a Paradox form. Same with Volcarona. Probably same with Swords of Justice. I'd also say that the Genies are probably not going to get anything because they already got a new Genie in Hisui, and they already have their own forms. Same with Genesect, same with Meloetta, same with Keldeo, same with Kyurem. I think the only possible ones to get new form, or like Megas or anything, would be Reshiram and Zekrom, but even then I don't really think so because they have the fuse with Kyurem ability, or they have the chance to fuse with Kyurem. So I don't think that any of these guys will get Megas. These two, very low percentage chance, if any. Chestnut, Delphox, Greninja, I feel like these have to get Mega Evolutions. At least Chestnut and Delphox, and then they bring back Ash Greninja. But I feel like they need to give these guys Mega Evolutions. I mean, making the starters not have Mega Evolutions in X and Y in the originals was so dumb, in my opinion. I thought that was stupid. I thought, like, why would you bring back the Gen 1 starters and give them Mega Evolutions and not the starters of the region? I feel like the starters of the region should be ones that are capable of Mega Evolution, because at least okay. Rant time. We're going on a rant. But my thought of Mega Evolution in the original games of X and Y is that everybody is capable of Mega Evolution as long as the bond. As long as you have a Keystone and the Mega Stone for the Pokemon, and the bond between both are super connected. Obviously, in the actual games themselves, we can Mega Evolve with whatever fucking Pokemon. We could catch a Camerupt off one of the routes and immediately Mega Evolve it in the next battle if we wanted to. So, but in the actual lore of that, and if you want to take the anime into account, which I think the anime has some sort of say here just because of Ash Greninja, and some of the events. So I don't think it's like the end all be all, but it's got some sort of sway. It was the same thing there. Like you didn't see your everyday trainer using Mega Evolution. It was really just some of your gym leaders, some of the rivals in the anime, Champion, Elite Four. Like those were some of the ones you were seeing using Mega Evolution. So I feel, but like everybody is capable of Mega Evolution. It's kind of the same with where not all Pokemon, but everybody in the region is capable of using Z crystals in Alola, and in fucking Galar, while technically and like with these, of course, you need the stuff to use them. Like you need the Z Power Band, you need the fucking Galarian Power Up Band, you need in Paldea, you need the fucking Terrestrial Orb to actually be able to use the gimmick to use all of it. But everybody is still able to actually do it as long as they have the items for it. It's not like you have this innate power, only a select few have this innate power to do this. No, you just need the item, and at least in the case of Mega Evolution, the only other thing you need is a strong bond with your Pokemon, which means anybody can do it. And I feel like giving starters the ability to Mega Evolve, it makes the most sense to me. I mean, am I wrong? Because like, your starter is your starter Pokemon. It's the Pokemon you start with. That is the one you are going to have the strongest bond with. So why would the game not make Mega Stones for your starter? I mean, that is the one that, if you think about it logically and how people normally play the Pokemon games, your starter's staying on your team the entire game. That's how most people play, unless you're playing some sort of challenge mode of like you're playing a Nuzlocke or some sort of variant of that, or you just really hate the starters, which most people don't. Everybody keeps their starter on their team until the end. It's like a rite of passage with Pokemon. You have to keep your starter on your team at least until the end of the game. Once you're at the end of the game, then you can take it out, but like it stays, it's like a rite of passage. So I feel like your starter Pokemon should get Mega Stones, or there should be a Mega Stone for them, because that's the Pokemon you will legitimately have the strongest bond with. It will be with you on your entire journey. So, like Delphox, Chestnut, and Greninja not having a Chestnutite or a Delphoxite and a Greninjite, like those not being things already, I feel like was a big misstep from Pokemon back then. And again, I don't know the exact reason. That might be something I should look up, because maybe there's a reason why they didn't give you these. Because, like, I don't know, it would work. Because then you can do what they did in, I know they did it in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I don't remember if they did it in Sun and Moon, where they gave these starters their own personalized Z Crystal, but you weren't able to get it until like later in the game. Like you had to get to Mali City, which was on the third island, which means you already had to go through more than 50% of the game to even get the specialized Z Crystals. And I would need to check again, but I think that might be post game. Like you have to be in the post game to get it, because I know you have to get it from Kukui or something like that. I could be wrong on the post game part, but you have to get through a good amount of the story to even get them. And that can be the same with these. If you don't want to go post game, which I can understand, you have to go through like most of the game and maybe be like in the last third or fourth of the game before you can actually get the Mega Stone or Mega Stones for these guys, and even for your starter, which that I feel like if it's for your specific starter, like in Pokemon ZA, whatever starter you get, and if they are doing Mega Stones for the starters, they'll probably give that to you a little early in the game. That's what I'm assuming. Big assumptions, but okay. let me get off of this. Let me get off of this. Chestnut, Delphox, Greninja, they need Megastones. They need Megastones. Moving on. I don't think anything else from here will really get a Mega Evolution, because, like, nothing else did get a Mega Evolution from Kalos, which is really weird now that I think about it. None of the new Kalos Pokemon got a Mega Evolution, with the one exception being Diancie. Like, the Diancie is quite literally the only Gen 6 Pokemon that got a Mega Evolution, where right? Let me check this again just to make sure. Yeah, because Audino was Unova. Yeah. Jeez, they only got one Unova too. That's okay. Fair enough. So yeah, they're probably going to do a lot more Unova and a lot more of the recent gens, Gen 6 through 9. They're probably going to put more of those in. But anyway, moving on to Gen 7. Again, if Litten and Incineroar are in, I can see them getting Mega Evolutions. Definitely no Z Crystals, because that only works in Alola. So we'll have to wait and see if we ever get another Alola remake, if we'll be getting Z Crystals back. But I could see Incineroar getting a Mega. Lycanroc, maybe. It does have its Dusk and Midnight form as well. Or its Dusk, Dawn, and Midnight form. So I could see it, but I could also see why it wouldn't. Mudsdale, I could see Mudsdale getting one. Beware as well. I could see Beware getting a Mega, kind of like how Snorlax got a Gigantamax form. I could see Beware getting a Mega Evolution. Silvally, I feel like Silvally good in Type Null. Maybe not Type Null, but Silvally. Turtonator, could see that. Mimikyu got its own Z Crystal, so maybe not. Same thing with Como. It got its own Z Crystal, so maybe not. I don't think any of the Tapus. Don't think any of the what are these shits? Ultra Beasts. Definitely none of those. Definitely not Zeraora. No, Melmetal already got a Gigantamax form. Gen 8. It's going to be hard for going on from here. I think, like, because these guys got Gigantamax forms. So it's really going off who didn't get a Gigantamax form. And yeah, we kind of got to go from there. It's like Orbeetle can't, Colossal I don't think, same with Corviknight. I don't think those guys are going to get Megas. Flapple, no, or Appleton, no. Maybe Barraskewda, probably not, but maybe. Not Sense Scorch, not Toxtricity, no. Sinistea, Poltergeist, they got their regional fakes, so no. Perkaseer, no. Surfetched, probably not. Indeedee, I don't think so. Capraja, no, it had its own thing. Yeah, a lot of these, I don't think so. Duraludon, probably not, because it just got an evolution. Definitely nothing from Hisui. I don't think any of those are getting Megas. And I really don't think anything from Gen 9 are going to get Megas, at least not a good amount. Like, Tinkaton, I could see Tinkaton getting one. Same with Rabska. I think that one could also get a Mega. Armarouge, Ceruledge, I could 100% see those. Dondozo, maybe. Everything else, I'm not really sure. Palafin has already technically got its own other form. Reverum, maybe. I don't see any of these guys. Definitely not. And I wouldn't say anything from here either. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah, those are some that I think could get Mega Evolutions in the game. Again, that is all only if they actually are going to be bringing new Mega Evolutions, which they probably are. And that is also assuming that it's just assuming which ones they're going to bring in. Some of those are based off of, do I just think they look like they could get a Mega Evolution? Obviously, like, most of my stuff was based on, do I think by their design and by their popularity, could they get a Mega Evolution? There are some that should get Mega Evolutions strictly because of their gameplay. Um, like how good are they with competitive, which I don't think these guys are going to come into competitive at all. Any megas in competitive back then was super broken. It was super unbalanced. You basically had to have a mega on your team, which means it was a lot easier to, like, unless you had a full team of fucking Mega Evolution available Pokemon, it was pretty easy to see who was going to be the Mega Evolution, who was, and it was easy. It was a little unbalanced back then. So unless they're going to reconfigure how Mega Evolution works, they're probably going to go down the same way as Legends Arceus and say, all right, we're just not going to let you do competitive battles. They might not even do PvP like they did with Legends Arceus, where it'll strictly be PvE. The most you can do is maybe trade with somebody else, and that's the most multiplayer we're going to get. With Legends, the Legends games feel like they're supposed to be, or at least Legends Arceus made it seem like it's supposed to be a lot more of a single player experience. That's why there's only one copy. That's why trading with other people is not really needed. I mean, they gave you items like link cable items, so you didn't have to trade with people if you really didn't want to. So going off that idea that the Legends games are supposed to be single player, I think that Legends AZ is also going to go based off that, with it's going to be a big single player experience. So we're probably not going to have a lot of PvP battling or competitions or anything like that. And you saw this earlier, so I want to pull it back up. I had this IGN guide where with all of the new stuff that they brought into Legends Arceus, and I want to see how, and I want to go through, give my ideas on how much they might bring over to Legends ZA. So, RPG combat, God, do I hope that, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on. I need water first. Hold on. Okay. Needed that. Need to slow down for a second. I perfectly understand that there were a lot of stuff that they had in Legends Arceus that they did not have in Scarlet and Violet. Key points being they took out the type of, the way you craft, I guess you could say. They changed what crafting does. They took out the whole throwing a ball and catching Pokemon that way. They took out the ability to use your camera in battle. They took out a lot of the things, a lot of like the nice things that people liked in Arceus, the shiny charm or chime that happened. They took a lot of that out. I want to go with the benefit of the doubt and say that while they did have a hand in Legends Arceus and then they were working on Scarlet and Violet, they wanted to just try it in Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus to me seemed like it was, let's test it. And then we went into Scarlet and Violet, which adopted a lot of the stuff. Being open world, of course, being one. Having battles not in like a set battle screen, kind of like how in Sword and Shield, you go into a battle, it brings you to a battle screen. Having Pokemon out in the wild, you know, they took those things, they brought them over, and I think that was just something that they were going to do, but they were testing in Legends Arceus just to see how people took it. But they were going to be bringing it into Scarlet and Violet anyway. And then I think there were those little things that they put in Legends Arceus that they just wanted to test. They weren't going to be putting in Scarlet and Violet, but they wanted to test it in Legends Arceus to see how would people like it. And that's why I think the shiny charm or the shiny chime, that's one of the biggest things. Like, why did this come in Scarlet and Violet? Well, I think that might have just been something that they wanted to test out, because you always hear from people, oh, shiny hunting has gotten so easy. So they might have put that in as like, okay, we'll see how people like this. And then we won't put it in Scarlet and Violet, and we'll gauge which one would people rather. People like the shiny charm or chime, fucking hell. People like the shiny chime. So I think that's definitely something that could come into Pokemon Legends ZA. Same thing with the dynamic camera. I think that should have been just like a no shit, people are going to want that. But that's another thing where they could have just been testing it in Pokemon Legends Arceus, didn't put it in Scarlet and Violet so that they could see what would people rather. Would they rather have fixed camera angles, or would they rather have a dynamic camera? Or I'm sorry, not a dynamic camera, being able to move in during the battle. My apologies. That's what I meant. Being able to move your character during the battle. That is what I meant. There is a dynamic camera in Scarlet and Violet, but you're not able to move your character while they're battling. And I think, again, that's something they were probably just testing in Legends Arceus. Would people actually want to move around during the battle or not? And as everybody has seen, everybody loves being able to move around in battle so much. And unless that was for some reason just something key and only to Legends Arceus for the specific reason of being able to run away, which I feel like is a little dumb if that is the case, but I feel like that's something where they tested it, they saw that people liked it, they will probably bring that into Legends ZA. So yeah, I think, and there's some other examples, but I think Legends Arceus was testing stuff, and then they didn't implement it into into Scarlet and Violet, so that they could test and that they could see what the community would like. Now, does that sound very Pokemon Company? Absolutely not. When has the Pokemon Company really listened to the fans? And I mean, the Pokemon game Scarlet and Violet was so buggy, and they still haven't fixed it. Almost like over a year later, we're coming up on the second year of Scarlet and Violet, right? Second year, yeah. We're coming up. We're already like 2.5 years into Scarlet and Violet. Fucking year and a half. My God. And they still haven't fixed it. They probably won't fix it, regardless. Moving on. Inventory management. This is something that I honestly thought was a good idea. It was like a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom style inventory management where, well, not Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild, where you had slots and it would hold one single item, and you can hold up to $9.99 of that item in that slot. But you had to unlock more slots, and I honestly did kind of like that. Now, that really only worked because you didn't have all of the items that you normally do in a Pokemon game, like the 20 different kinds of Pokeballs and the like 15 different types of healing items and all the battle items and stuff, of course, and key items. Key items was separate, but you get what I mean. All the mail and stuff. So I think if they go back to that, where they take out a lot of the items, like a lot of the items, and they overhaul it, kind of like they did in Legends Arceus, I could see this inventory management working. And I think it could be good. I think it could work. Actual side quests. This is something, I swear to God, if they don't bring side quests back, dude, that's gonna hurt. I will definitely say, and that might be something they were just testing in Legends Arceus, and then they didn't put it in Scarlet and Violet as a test. They wanted to test stuff. But I think side quests would be perfect. Pokemon has always been an RPG. By definition, it is an RPG because you get to customize your team and everything to how you want to play it. You can battle however you want. You can make a full attack stat team, everything special attack. You can make it a full water team, full flying, whatever you really want. So that's where the RPG elements come from. But being able to do stuff like actual side quests, I feel like gives it that more. It makes it feel more like an RPG, kind of like IGN is saying here, actual RPG style quests. And plus, it gives you more content to do that you don't have to go searching for. One thing that I will show you is I have this thing. There was a website called Pokemon Postgame Checklist, or it was just called Pokemon Postgame. And one reason why I made it myself is because they don't fucking update this like ever. Because I mean, Legends Arceus is the newest one, but you go in here and it lets you check off stuff. that you can do once you have completed the official game. You know, go through, re-challenge the main bosses, defeat Arceus, you know, fully upgrade your satchel, do everything, yada yada. But there are some, if I can remember where, I think in here, it had some side quests. Yeah, like quests. It has stuff in here like show a Togedemaru to the collector at the Mali City apparel shop. Just playing the game normally, you probably had no idea you even could do that. And while yes, obviously you have to go to places to unlock the side quests, at least Legends Arceus also gave you the little side quest thing and told you how many side quests are there, so you'll know if you're missing side quests. You'll know if you're missing content, not just put them in there and then if you happen to stumble upon it or you have to go later and get it. And now I am a huge fucking nerd, okay, but I love myself. I love myself. Some Google spreadsheets. But I went through and I overhauled that and I made my own thing for it here. And this is for Scarlet and Violet. But I made my own like checklist thing. So that, and let me actually so you could read it a little better. But I made it so you could go through and you could actually see what like different things you can do, like getting all the emotes, which I still need to do. Getting all the emotes here, you might not have even known that there were other emotes that you could get. Same thing, like getting ingredients from the picnic guy there at the entrance to Kitakami Hall. Right, if you stand at the entrance at the stairs and you go and you're facing away from Kitakami Hall, and you go straight, right on the edge of the mountain, there's like a picnic table where you can get chairs from a chair guy, and you can get some ingredients, and I think there's some other stuff you can get from him, if I remember correctly. Either way. Then there's the whole Billionaire quest line, which if you go around and you find stuff online, you probably saw this, or if you were just exploring. But like then you have to go through all this, and it doesn't tell you that you're still doing the quest line. Especially if you're not really paying attention to text boxes or anything and you miss that, like, oh, we're going to go here. You might have just seen them and then just be like, oh, okay, that's the quest. Okay, cool. Like, I feel like, and same thing with here, raise $1 million for the caretaker. I mean, like, you'd have to go to the caretaker and find it, of course. But, I mean, I think he actually mentions that he goes up to $1 million, or he needs $1 million. So let me stop there. But then, like, oh, the Kitakami Ogre clan, like, you can go find all these guys and defeat them. And that might not be side quest, but that's something that's like that's something they don't really tell you. So like adding an actual side quest like system where it tells you the quest, it gives you some little info about it, and it keeps track of all the side quests you've done, so you at least can see other content to do in the game, and you're not feeling like you're stumbling around not doing anything, or that like you beat the game, now there's nothing else to do. Catching Pokemon without battling them, already did that. Stealth element, I really hope they bring that back again. With it being, assuming it is all in Lumiose City, and we don't know how you're going to get Pokemon, the stealth element would honestly probably wouldn't make sense if we are staying in Lumiose City and we have to catch Pokemon there somehow. I can see a stealth element not really meaning much. And in that same sense, then I could see being able to catch Pokemon outside of a battle unnecessary if that's the case. But like I said, we know nothing at this point. It is the 29th of February 2024. We know nothing about this game except that it is going to be in Lumiose City, and we are rebuilding Lumiose City, and Mega Evolution's coming back. That's all we know. That is all we know. And we know it is coming out in 2025, and we know it's called Pokemon ZA. That's like all we know. All right. New Pokeballs? Maybe. I feel like for where the time period is probably taking place, because this is the development of Lumiose City that we know now, which means more than likely it's probably going to have all of the regular Pokeballs. Maybe no Apricorn balls. I can understand none of the Apricorn, whatever. I can understand none of the Apricorn balls, but I could see all of the regular Pokeballs just coming back. Nothing new though. Full Pokedex requires more tasks. I hope this comes back. I am still working on it for Legends Arceus, and that might be something I stream. Honestly, that might even just be something I stream like over the summer or something. You know, that might be a good idea. Just like over the summer, I'll just sit there and I'll just go through quests. That's all I'm going to do for the stream. Maybe talk a little bit, but yeah, maybe that actually might be kind of fun. We'll see. At least get some content. But I hope they bring that back. That was super fun. Like, you catch the Pokemon, and of course, you caught it, and you get to keep going, and it's like a whole nother side quest, basically, where you go through and you have to see it do a certain amount of moves. You have to catch a certain amount. I think every single one except the static encounters, like legendaries, had you catching more than one. Or see you use a move, catch one while sleeping, catch one while it's flying, feed it berries. Like, I liked those. And then it also, once you completed the page, it also gave you the ability to increase the shiny odds on that Pokemon. You would get the little sparkle effect if you completed it, and I forget how much, but it increased the odds of seeing that Pokemon as a shiny in the wild. Now, I do understand Pokemon Legends Arceus, your main job was a researcher, so researching the Pokemon and writing it down makes sense. So, again, that's one where I could see it not being brought over into Legends ZA, because our job in Arceus was researcher. In this one, it's going to be probably something like construction guy, or like project developer, project manager of this whole thing, or something like that. So I could definitely see us not getting it, but I would like it, especially because, like, in all the other games, it's just, okay, you caught the Pokemon, here's the Pokedex, but like, and while yes, you are a trainer first in all the other games and really a researcher kind of second technically, I feel like giving us the ability to be more of a researcher. I mean, if we're going to get a Pokedex, and it's supposed to be this highly tech research tool, according to the original games, at least, with Red and Blue, and then you could even say Gold and Silver. The Pokedex was made so that you could help gather data on Pokemon to send back to the professor. And I think that kind of got lost later on. I honestly can't tell you exactly where, because I don't really know. But I know for a fact, like Galar, you just get the Pokedex so that you could track what Pokemon you've caught. Same with Paldea. No, Paldea was... Actually, no. They did bring it back with Paldea. My apologies. They kind of brought it back with Paldea, because I remember it. They did bring it back so that you could help Jacques develop the app and get some research there. So, you know what? My apologies on that. They did bring it back a little bit. So I do hope that they bring back the ability to do these moves. To research these Pokemon in a different way than just go catch one, and then your entire page is filled out. Let me have to catch multiple so I can get different weights. Like, as annoying as it was catching that, like what 7-pound Buizel, let me do something like that. Ooh, Pokemon don't start evolution animation right away. I will say, there were a good few times that like one of my Pokemon was ready to evolve, and I just never noticed. But please do this. Please do this. Make the gameplay seamless. We're going into a battle. We go into the battle right away. Paldea and Scarlet and Violet adapted that part pretty well. You throw the Pokeball and you go right into a battle. I think they adapted that pretty well. It could have been faster. Obviously, it was a laggy piece of shit. So you would run into a Pokemon or something and it would like freeze for 2 seconds. But you know what? It could be better. Hopefully this is coming out on Switch too, so hopefully it will be better. But then you would go into the battle, you would do all that, and at the end, at least in Legends Arceus, at the end, you'd zoom out. All right, you're back on your way. I liked how they did that. And I didn't like how Scarlet, and I think, again, I think they were just testing in Legends Arceus, and then they didn't put it in Scarlet and Violet because that was a big test that they wanted to try. and gauge how people thought of it. But like Legends Arceus, you got, as soon as the battle was over, it was over. You zoomed out, you went on, it would tell you your XP on the side, new moves learned, yada yada. And I like how they did that. And Scarlet and Violet took that out, where you're done with the battle, it freezes for like another second or two because of the Switch being shitty for it, or the game being poorly optimized for it. And where's my point? And then it would stop you. It would tell you any new moves anybody you learned, any stat level ups, all XP. Like, again, stuff that like they could take from Legends Arceus and they could streamline. They could streamline a lot of that stuff. Can't hold items. I'm gonna be honest, that was one of the things I didn't like in Legends Arceus. I think it made it, obviously, Legends Arceus made everything a lot simpler in terms of battling and the whole Pokemon thing, where like they took out the whole EV-IV system as well, and breeding and all that. So they took out everything that made it competitive, which I do like somewhat, but I always liked having items on my Pokemon as well. I think it made it a little bit more challenging, just because sometimes they could have an item that would like help boost them up. So I would say personally, very personally, I would like us to still be able to hold items. Now, if that does connect to my point up here where they reduce the amount of items in the game, then yeah, then it happens. But I would still like to hold items. Same with abilities. I would personally like to still have abilities. I think that those were still pretty cool. Same with breeding. Like, there were a few of these, like in Legends Arceus, I wasn't a big fan of course. Holding items, no abilities and no breeding, I would like those back. Now, breeding, personally, the only reason I want it back was because it helped filling out the decks a lot faster, because I could just, hey, I got a Ditto, fucking great. As long as I got a Ditto that I can transfer in from Pokemon Home, I could go catch every Pokemon, and then I could breed down for the previous evolutions, or I could breed for shinies, which unless they take the Legends Arceus shiny hunting method, then I could see breeding not being needed. But I personally liked it just because it helped fill out the decks a little bit better. No IVs or EVs. Oh my god, please. Effort values were amazing. Now, as you could probably tell, I am not a big competitive guy from how much I'm like talking about stuff that does not go with competitive. I'm not a big competitive person, which reminds me I need to sign up for the global competition so I can get my free shit. But yeah, and so I know IVs and EVs are a big thing when it comes to competitive, and that can be the difference between a really good mon and a really bad mon. But I liked effort values. It made it feel a lot more grounded. It made it feel simpler. And if that's the goal of the Legends games and not other mainline games, perfectly understandable. But since it's Legends ZA, I think these effort values should come back. No TMs or HMs, but there's a move tutor. I liked that. I did kind of like that. Just because I didn't have to go around and finding all these TMs and HMs. Because like I showed you, like, let me even show you in this, let me go back to this checklist. And I have a whole section where you just go, where you have to track all the TMs. I don't have the locations of the TMs that, at the moment. That's probably, I don't even really work on this too much more anymore. I've been slacking on my Pokemon. But like, especially with Scarlet and Violet, which I mean was easy to get TMs, I'm gonna be honest. But like, you're going up to like 229 TMs, and honestly it might have been even a little more. This might not be fully updated. But like that many TMs, even just going for 100 TMs, while yes, you can get like 20 to 30 of them naturally through the game, and maybe like another fourth of them just by like buying them in the stores, so they're not that hard to find. I still think that going around and finding them was really annoying. And then especially if you're going to like older games with like anything prior to Gen 5 where it's a one-use item. I don't like the one-use items. I don't like one-use TMs. I think that Brilliant. If anything in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl did good, if any of those games did anything good, it was that they didn't make them an infinite use, but they gave you like a lot of the TM, and they made it very easily accessible to buy more or go get more from somewhere. You could get them from I'm pretty sure you could get them from the underground too, the Grand Underground. So like they gave you options to be able to get these back. So they're not infinite in the sense that you get one and that you have it forever, but they are infinite in the sense that you can go and get more. Like it's easy to go and get them. Getting the specific one a little harder, but you can go and get them pretty easily. That I liked. So if they were to do something like that here, I would like that. Otherwise, I did like the move tutor as well. I think the move tutor was great. And remembering moves and everything like they did in Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus, where if your Pokemon had a move and it's had it before, you could switch it out. I like that, and I think that's something they are just going to keep since they did it in both games. And I have heard no complaining from people being like, I hate that I can do this. I if there is, then they're just trying to find stuff to hate. And then, oh my god, look, it's right there. New moves are added to a permanent move pool. Strong and agile style. I liked it in Legends Arceus. I don't think they're going to bring it back, and I don't think they should. I think that was a nice little Legends Arceus thing. That should stay there. I think it worked for the game that it was in. I don't think it needs to come back, though. I definitely don't think it needs to come back. Status effects work differently. Again, 100%. Status effects were for the battle only, and while I understand that realistically, for as realistic as Pokemon gets, realistically, Pokemon getting a status effect in battle should technically carry over, because just because the battle's over doesn't mean that the status effect goes away. I liked in Legends Arceus that that they got cut off at the end of the battle, and how they work differently. Like if you were paralyzed in battle, it was, unless you had an item, it was basically guaranteed you're paralyzed for the rest of the battle. Frozen would stick around, or Frozen, I think it was Frozen, whatever. You get Frozen. That stuck around for a while. Same with Confused. If you were confused, that was sticking around for like 5 turns, unless you got super lucky. So I liked, and I liked that it told you as well how much longer it was going to stay instead of guessing, or hoping that it was going to go away. I liked that it told you, oh, you got like 3 more turns of this, so I can plan a little bit better. So yeah, 100%. I love how they did that. Same with the offensive and defensive stats. So instead of just raising attack or just raising special defense, it raised both attack and special attack, or defense and special defense. Also really liked that. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And they don't stack. Oh my god. Thank fuck they don't stack. I definitely think that's something that's going to stick around in normal Pokemon games, and I 100% understand why. Because especially when it comes to competitive stacking stat buffs and debuffs are like integral parts at this point. So I 100% understand that they will be staying, probably maybe not in Legends ZA, but they will probably be staying in other future games. But yeah, I did like in Legends Arceus how they had it like this. So if they do that in Legends ZA, I think that would be pretty cool too. Oh my god, no more trap moves. Yes. Again, it's a competitive thing. I understand that. This will probably not change in future games. But Legends ZA, I think they could also take these out, and that would be great. Obviously, some of these are based off of they're not going to be doing competitive. And that idea that they're just not going to do competitive. But yeah. Some moves that have been buffed. There are new moves. I think we're obviously probably going to get some new moves. We get new moves every single generation. And basically every single game we get some type of new move, unless it's like a full-on remake. Let's see, fast travel. Oh my god, yes, fast travel. Assuming we're only going to be in Lumio City, I mean, then that's perfect. Like, just go into the subway. I'm assuming there might be a subway underneath the town already, or under the city already. So boom, right there. And we can go to like the other parts of the city, or the other parts on the ends of the city. We're probably not going to be able to go into the city, like inward, but maybe we'll see. We don't know. Gym badges. When it comes to Legends ZA, I don't know how they're going to do this. Could they do gym leaders? They could. It would be difficult to do so if they're staying in Lumio City the entire time. Because that would mean that either it probably wouldn't, if they do that, then it wouldn't be 8 gym leaders. They might only be like a few, like 4 or 5. And they would have to be like in different parts of Lumio City. They couldn't be right next to each other. Excuse me. So I could see like one being in the middle, where it might be like the electric one, because in the original Lumio City, the Lumios Tower was the electric gym. So I could see that. I could see that working. And then having like maybe a different quadrant for all the other ones. Sorry, my nose. I could see that. I could also see them. Let me pull Lumio City back up. Jesus Christ. Lumason. We're just going to pull up Lumason. Here we go. I could see these plazas maybe turning into kind of into like a little gym leader area, where like this is one gym, or this is one gym, or like these are the areas that you can find the leaders. And that's obviously assuming they go with gym leaders, and that's also assuming we're staying in Lumio City. If we're going outside of Lumio City, we can probably get something else, and there might also be the chance that it's not going to be a gym leader. It might be something else. Will it be boss Pokemon? I doubt that. We're like, the time period for this is still supposed to be like modern day, but like earlier. It's supposed to be like early 1900s type thing, I would say. I'm assuming that it's going to be early 1900s. I've already talked about it, and I'll probably get into it again. I'll go on another little rant after this. But yeah, the story isn't afraid to mention how you might die. Again, based on the time period, I don't think that this is going to be that big of a thing. Pokemon height actually affects. Yes. I will say in Scarlet and Violet, they did decently well with this, but I do feel like they still scaled everything down a little too much, because there were some Pokemon that were way too fucking small. And you know what I mean. Any Sinistea was like super fucking small. Any Nimbles that were on the ground, almost invisible. So I think they definitely need to scale up the models rather than scale them down, because it got annoying quick, especially because there's no shiny chime. Like in Legends Arceus, trying to shiny hunt anything, it was so hard. If it was like small and it was not something like a Beartic or like a Duraludon that was just walking around, if it was something like a Sinistea, hard to ship. And I know there's this one part, because I did this, and I did physically do this. Going to get that antique shiny, or not antique shiny. Well, that's also another one, but antique Sinistea. Going around and trying to find that on those models is so damn hard, because not only do you have to go up to it, you can't start the battle with it right away. Well, you could, but you ideally don't want to start the battle. And you need to angle your camera just perfectly so that you can see the underside of it, like you're trying to see a girl's panties. Pause. We don't do that around here. Moving on. But you have to angle the camera so you can see on the underside, and then you have to like look really close to the screen to be able to try and see it. And then you got to do that for like each of the 10 that can spawn in that area near Alfrenata. I'm pretty sure that's it, in the bottom left. But yeah, and that's super fucking hard. And same with Sinistra, or not Sinistra, Poltegeist. The same thing there. Try and find the mark. You really had to look. The only other way that you could get around that is going and catching every single one. But you run out of Pokeballs fast. That takes up a lot of time. yada yada. Just they need to scale the models up a lot more, make them a little bit closer to their actual height. Because even in the game, Duraludons, like yes, they're big, but they were also like our character height big. They were a little bit taller than our character, which I feel like Duraludon should be at least twice our character's height. Like it's supposed to represent a skyscraper, and while I can understand it not being, mountains tall, I feel like it should be like at least twice the height of our character. Yada yada. Okay. But there we go. And I think this just kind of goes into all that. Okay. I just Pokemon ZA. I'm just gonna pull this up. One last thing I want to talk about, and it is going to be the time period thing. I want to get into this. I've mentioned it in the last video. I've mentioned it a few times during this stream right now. What time period is this going to be in now? I will emphasize again. I don't know jack shit. It is February 29th, 2024 of the day of this stream. We have no information other that this is going to be in Lumiose City. So this is going to be in Kalos. There's a 99% chance we're getting Mega Evolution, and that we are rebuilding Lumiose City. We don't know anything past that, and that it's called Pokemon ZA and it's a Legends game. We don't know anything past that. I think people are getting the idea that this is a game set in the future due to the sole fact of this image right here. And so for anybody that doesn't remember this part in the teaser, the teaser had started off with a little sketch, like blueprint sketch, talking about the redevelopment plan. And then it kind of went into, it started drawing out like a little city street with Pikachu, and then it went from that into a futuristic Tron looking thing here. I think this is actually around the scene that it swapped over. And people are getting the idea that it is going to be in the future. One, because of this whole Tron thing. I mean, it looks super futuristic, techie, so people are like, oh, that would make sense for being in the future. And the second one is redevelopment plan. I think got it comfortable. I think some people are thinking that this is set in the future because they said redevelopment. So they're thinking, oh, we're going to be rebuilding Lumiose in the future or something. But that's not it. I can be pretty confident and say that this is going to be in the past. I think the Legends games are called Legends because the whole point of a legend is it's in the past. It's a story about the past. So like that's what legend vaguely means. It's a story about the past. So the Legend series is all going to be about things in the past of these regions. Now, how far back are we going? And I've already mentioned this. I believe we are going back like a few decades, early 1900s, maybe like 1960s, 70s era. I could see that being somewhat of the time period. Now, we're obviously not going to get an exact what year is it in Pokemon games. We never do. But I don't think we've ever gotten like an exact year date when these are. But I'm going to safely assume that it is going to be in that 1900s century. It's going to be in the 20th century. Excuse me again. But I think it's going to be in that, just because when you think about Lumiose City, and let me pull it up one more time. Lumiose City. Let me pull some images up again. Lumiose it's not known, but it's got bright lights. It is a city. It is a urban city. And it's based off Paris. It is based off Paris. So it's an urban city it doesn't have skyscrapers, but it has big tall buildings. It has some big tall buildings. It's got a giant Eiffel Tower style tower in the middle. So and like it's got all this artificial light as well. It's got a lot of artificial light. I mean, you got the lights here, you got these shooting up here. I mean, you got all this up top on the tower. And in the original X and Y, this was the Electric Gym. I remember watching the anime for Pokemon before. I remember watching the actual Pokemon X and Y anime before even getting Pokemon X. I didn't even officially play through like all of Pokemon X until I think last semester, or maybe last year, like last spring semester, maybe. I don't know. It's been very recent that I actually played through Pokemon X all the way. I got it back around when Pokemon Sun and Moon were coming out. So I did get it late. But regardless. Lumio City, the Electric City, or the Electric Gym in the middle. Clement was the gym leader along with little bitch Bonnie for his sister, and it was a whole technological thing. I mean, like, I remember the gyms in Lumio City in the games. It was a quiz show, but the look of the... Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go. But like, look, it was so technologically looking. I mean, it's got all this like digital pixels behind it. It's got the light floor panels. It's got like this. Obviously it's got an elevator in it, and it's got all the light panels on the walls. It's got all the it just looks super futuristic and tech looking. That it looks like a modern day, like this could be something modern day. So yeah, and of course there could be a future thing, or not a future thing, but like later down the line after the redevelopment, like years after, where they redo the tower on the inside. That's obviously possible. But from what we see in the actual game and the anime, like you can see it in the anime here. Of course, it's a really shitty picture, but you could kind of see it. It looks very similar to what we have in Pokemon ZA. Like, the outside doesn't seem like it's been changed too much. And I mean, the outside up here is obviously a little different, but we still have like a giant antenna looking thing, which would, at least to me, assume that there's, Wi-Fi, cell service, yada yada, in this era that we're building this. So that's personally why I think it's definitely not going to be back as far back as Legends Arceus. We're not going back like that hundreds, thousands of years like Legends of Arceus was. I forget how many years, but we're not going back that far. We're definitely sticking around, and we're like staying within the 1900s, the 20th century. I can be pretty confident in saying we are going to be somewhere around there. I'm going to generalize and say 1950s. I'm going to generalize and say 1950s, because that also might not be an antenna for Wi-Fi, but whatever. Or cell service. Okay. Now, and again, I talked about this in my other video, but I'm going to re-emphasize it. And let me look this up. When was Pokemon 1,000, or not 1,000 year fucking Blood War? I'm thinking of Bleach. Pokemon War. The Great War. That's talking about that. Pokemon XY War. Here we go. Was the whole thing with the AZ War. Not the AZ War. Yeah, okay. 3,000 years prior to X and Y. There's absolutely no way that we are going to be doing anything with the Pokemon War. Okay. We're not going to be doing anything directly with the Pokemon War. We might be getting like some After Effect stuff. Like we might get some more AZ story, we might get some more of his Floette story, but there is absolutely no way we're doing anything directly with the Pokemon War, which I think is dumb. Let me just pull this up just because I think this will be cool to have in the background. So there was the Pokemon War 3,000 years ago. And I feel like for a Legends game, going back in the past, going over huge, like, moments, this would have been the perfect Legends game, story-wise. And again, I'm gonna reiterate what I said before. Either this could be 3 options. If they did actually end up going with this, if they had gone with this, there would have been 3 options. The first one is we go before the Pokemon War. It's like a few months, maybe it's quite literally days before the war starts. But we go before the war, and we see why the war started. We go through and we see, and we get to look at why did the war start? What are the different sides of the war? What are the feelings between them? Different things. But it's just about the lead up to the war. I think that could be at least a possibility for one. Honestly, it's out of all 3, it's the lowest one that I would have wanted, but it is still a possibility. The second one, and the one that is this the one I got? Yeah, this one this one is probably the one I would want to see the most. The second one is have it after the war. So the war has already happened, and we come in maybe a week or something afterwards, or like a little bit after the war has happened, and we get to see the aftermath of this whole Pokemon War. And maybe that's talking to different NPCs and getting to learn information about what happened with the war. Why do places look like they do now? What's the relationship between Pokemon and humans now that this is over? And being able to go hear stories about it and stuff, and see the aftermath, and see everybody trying to rebuild. Like, if you want to do a redevelopment plan, do it after the fucking war. I feel like that would have been pretty cool, where you have to redevelop things. That personally, that's the one I would have wanted. If I would have wanted that, go after the war, because we just get to see everything in despair, and maybe it's like our job to help bring it back to light with redevelopment and bringing happiness and light back to the area. Not a normal Pokemon game, but I mean, Legends Arceus wasn't a normal Pokemon game either. I mean, they talked about us dying, and I mean, what is it? The commander Kashimo, I think, cast us out to die at the end of the game. So it was not a normal Pokemon game. The third and final one, based around this, is during the war. And this is the second one I would want to happen. If we don't get after the war, I would want during the war. Maybe we kind of get a little bit of that element of right before the war, and a little bit of right at the end of the war. But in the middle, we get the war. And we get to see the different battles that happen during the war. We participate in them. We get to, obviously we're the main character. We're going to be the one to stop the war eventually. But make us be an integral part of the war. And these are 3 that, if they had gone with anything around the Pokemon War, make it 3,000 years ago, those would have been perfect storylines, in my opinion. And it baffles me that they didn't go with this, because, like I said, a Legends game is supposed to be something set in the past, and Legends Arceus, while nobody was asking for it, but there was at least I didn't hear about a lot of lore that people were worried about with Sinnoh. Like people weren't asking a bunch about, oh my god, where did like how did I don't know, how did Arceus come to be or whatever, like what yada yada, this and that, the third. Nobody was really asking a lot of stuff about Sinnoh. But I think it opened up the doorway. It opened up the doorway to let Pokemon make games that could answer some of these questions. This one being probably one of the biggest, I would say. Obviously, I wanted a Unova game, and I think it would have been cool that if they did a Legends Unova game, they could have done the original King. I think it was that, right? There was like an original King that sealed Reshiram and Zekrom. We could have been able to see that, but since we're not doing that, we're doing this. This would have been a perfect time to do the Pokemon War. I mean, it gives us a time where we get thrown into the past, or our main character is set in the past at least, and it is a huge piece of lore that everybody has been wanting to know about since Pokemon X and Y when they introduced AZ and the fucking Floette. I mean, everybody's been wanting this Floette since it came out. I mean, I remember leaks coming out, that the sprite was in Scarlet and Violet, either that or Pokemon Home. But the Floette was added as an asset, or like the icon or something, meaning that they had plans, if it was true, of course, that they had plans to do something with the Floette. And that's something, and again, everybody was super excited about that. They're like, oh my god, they're bringing AZ's Floette in? What's going on with this? What's going on? We're going to get so much lore about the war, hopefully. So, like, doing a Legends game and making it about this Pokemon War would have been the best move. It would have been I think one of the smartest ideas of like, okay, everybody wants a Unova game. We're not doing Unova. Everybody's like assuming we're doing a Johto game. We're not doing Johto. We're doing Kalos. Okay, cool. Let's do it during the Pokemon War. I think that would have made everybody so much more hyped. Like being so serious, if we got this game said during the Pokemon War and not during the redevelopment of Lumio City, I would have even said, okay, Unova can wait. Unova can wait. We need this. But we didn't. We're not getting this. Again, we might get some story about it. Like AZ might come back, and we might get other people who talk about the Pokemon War. But I feel it, like I said, it would have been a perfect time to put us in the Pokemon War and actually show us it. And it was a huge missed opportunity. So yeah, that's the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about today with Pokemon ZA. Yeah. Can I think of anything else? Not really. I'm not going to try and assume new Pokemon. Obviously, they're going to bring in some new Pokemon, at least a few, like they did with Legends Arceus. They might only bring in like 10 new Pokemon, and they're probably going to bring in a bunch of new forms as well, and Mega Evolutions. So I already guessed about Mega Evolutions and possible regional, but I'm not going to worry about that. So, now that my voice is so fucking shot, we are going to move on. Let me fix up the stream information here. I'm now going to leave Pokemon ZA. Unfortunately, there will now be no streamer here. I'm so sorry.